Cancer, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it, Cancer. Happy day. Hope you're well, as always. We're just wrapping up Aries season. We're about to move into Taurus end of the week. And, Aries is all about investing in self. Taurus gives us the opportunity to kind of bring those investments into reality. It really focuses on our material world, our possessions, how we are feeling safe, stable, supported in the day-to-day. It's been tough because a lot of disconnects have been highlighted, especially in partnerships, relationships. We had a full moon in Libra, both Mercury, Venus were in retrograde. They've since gone direct, thank goodness, right? So we are seeing a little bit of movement in regards to places where things were just like really stagnant or there wasn't a lot happening in tenser, messier situations. It's starting to move again. And in a way that we have an opportunity to really kind of like, now that we see what it is, it's time to put our money where our mouth is, meaning, really like claim the things that you want, stand up for yourself, be strong, be courageous in what you need and what you want. And it really is kind of just like weeding out the people, places, and things that are willing to work with us and not. And it's painful for sure. I'm not taking that out of the equation. It's messy. There's heightened water, heightened fire elements in the collective. They're like combating off of each other. They're just stirring up a lot of tension, a lot of frustration, anger, etc. And we have to navigate all these on top of feeling the feels, right? All the feels. So none of this is easy, but that's why I like to start off with an energy cleansing, just kind of set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any of those blocks, obstacles that we might be coming into. It's also a really good time to set your own intention, Cancer, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over, be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how things are going, how they're faring, where they're headed, etc. Or if you're just looking for more of a realignment with self, mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're feeling grounded in self, when we know who we are, when we know what we want, we're better or more apt to choose things that bring us happiness and fulfillment, which this is all about. That's what life is all about, right? Being happy, being fulfilled, enjoying what we have, etc. And it's so important to be grounded in yourself when doing those things. So it just makes it way easier, right? It kind of takes out the toxicity, the messiness, etc. So if you're interested in my services, I would be honored to help, support in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me, Cancer, is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly. And sorry. Oh my, sorry. Now to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama love, Mama love. All right, Cancer, let's get into it. So I was definitely feeling like, I don't know, you're at peace around something. I feel like even though there is kind of still some turmoil around you is what I'm seeing. Yeah, like I feel like you've kind of made your peace, and I feel like it's really putting you in a position to like make some new choices, make some new decisions for yourself, things that you wouldn't necessarily, maybe choose in the past. Maybe you're taking a little bit of a risk this week, or you kind of have something on your mind that you're like, you want to take a risk around. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so maybe you're looking to connect with someone, clear the air around a situation that maybe has been messy for a little bit. Maybe it does need a heart to heart, right? Like when we were actually able to kind of sit with someone, be honest, be vulnerable about the truth, even though that's not very easy to do, right? It does require some amount of trust, but it does, like, this is what I was hearing. It's like you've been fighting for something or trying to make something happen, and it just is not. There's something about it that just keeps falling flat. And that's kind of where that surrender, that's kind of where that peace is coming into play. And I do think part of that surrender is actually what's allowing some things to come out, to come to light, that is, shedding light on some problems and issues that haven't been addressed. Places where you've kind of just had to grin and bear it. Like, I don't know. I feel like you weren't getting some honesty from someone. They kept refusing. They kept refusing, or maybe just saying everything was fine, kind of like putting a blanket over it, or what are they, not a blanket, but I don't know. But this value of, just kind of sweeping it under the rug, not dealing with certain issues. And I feel like it's been a lot. Like, you've committed, you keep pushing through, you keep trying to make things happen. But I think there's also, like I said, this peace that's coming through from you this week, where it's like, I do feel like you are going to surrender at some point. A lot needs to come out. A lot needs to be said. A lot that hasn't been said for quite some time. And part of this is, and kind of like what you're understanding through this process, Cancer, is just like that cosmic dance, right? That life happens, and there's good and there's bad. There's good seasons and bad seasons, right? There's, and I feel like you're comfortable with that. But I think it's also been really hard to kind of assume this warrior spirit. It's forced you to rely a lot on yourself and not so much on maybe people or situations that like you thought you could rely on, or even like have been relying on you and then not necessarily giving back in the same way. There is some clarity coming through around this, as you're navigating. I don't know, like you're keeping really focused on yourself this week is what it looks like. I feel like you're not trusting yourself enough with this inner goddess in your blocked position, regardless of what your gender is. This is really that like value of divine feminine energy, right? Like, and feminine energy is all about our intuition. It's about nurture. It's about support. It's trusting and sensing our feelings. I feel like you've had a hard time doing that, or that's part of like where you're trying to keep things buttoned up, is not feeling your feels too much because you don't want it to be like the floodgates. But just as a heads up, be mindful, Cancer, because that could be on the horizon, right? I don't know. Someone's having a really hard time with something. Lots of twos, decisions on the table. But that's the thing that I find a little bit interesting about this. Like, they're having a hard time with you, but yet they really don't want to talk about it, or they don't want to address anything. It's like, I don't know if they have a lot of clarity on what they think and feel. And so maybe that's kind of why they're pushing it off, but it's making it really hard for you, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're like penalizing you for something that happened a long time ago or that didn't happen, but it does kind of look like they're holding on to some things. And I feel like you're having a really hard time getting through to them. I feel like that's also why it kind of comes to head. We're actually seeing, as the week progresses, as we're moving into Taurus season, both the fire and earth element are enlivening. So the earth is going to soak up all that water that we've been feeling, and then the fire element is actually putting that fire in our belly. And I kind of feel like some of this is going to come out. It's like a natural progression. And you feel bad about it. Like, I don't think it's like a mean-hearted conversation, or you're not coming to the table like that, but they're having a really hard time kind of owning what they want and what they need, and it's leaving you to kind of shoot in the dark, so to speak. It's leaving you to wonder, essentially. But like I said, I don't even necessarily feel like they know because they keep, as much as they're having a difficult time, and maybe even specifically with you right now, they're still waiting it out. They're still waiting it out because they have to see how things are going to fare for them before they make any decisions. 100%. We have 4. Oh yeah, they have 3 4s in their energy. So it's kind of like, I feel like they're using this situation. Like I said, no decisions have been made on their end, but they're still sitting on it. Like, it's almost like this energy feels like, well, if something better comes along, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Not that they're necessarily like planning to leave you or break up or whatever, but it definitely feels like you might be getting a little bit of the short end of the stick, and you don't really know how to respond to that, is what I'm seeing, because they're almost taking like your reaction as like, well, you don't care, Cancer doesn't care. But in reality, it's like you're either being like, they're pushing you away, or they're not like really wanting you to connect, together, etc. And so you let them do what they need to do. You're vibing as this King of Swords energy. So you're just weighing the pros and the cons. You have your own stuff going on. It's keeping you busy. You might not like everything that's happening in this situation, but you're letting them do what they need to do and kind of just waiting to see where things go. But I feel like because they're really struggling to like communicate and identify where they're at, it does feel like it's going to like lead to, I don't know if it's a fight, but it definitely feels like things are going to come out. Yeah, 100%. They're going to come to the surface. And it is opening up new opportunities, new projects, new learning. I mean, I do think this is a growth situation. I don't necessarily see someone trying to like manipulate. There is maybe a little bit of usury over here, but it's not like, I think it's a lot of miscommunications and not knowing how to talk, what to say to one another. And so it's making it really difficult. And there are some mental tapes that are going on in the background, I feel like, for both of you, that are kind of distorting the reality. Or like, maybe you just feel like you can't speak up. Maybe you feel like it's not safe because for whatever reason, you're kind of in this independent state as well, Cancer. And you're okay with it. I think you're okay with it. But I think at the same time, there are going to be things that like need to be dealt with. That's how I'm seeing this bottled up energy. And maybe this is that part of you that's like telling yourself a story about what you deserve that's really conflicting, that's not in reality, that's not necessarily in alignment. But someone's going to have to take the initiative, and that's where it's at. It does look like it's coming from your end. And again, I don't know that you're getting a lot of clarity out of them this week because that's just kind of where they're at. Hopefully that will change a little bit, but that's kind of like to be determined. It depends how they handle this, how they move forward. So I hope that helps. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here today, Cancer. I know it was a little heavy. That's just how all of the readings are faring this week. So I hope it helped, though. I hope you found those messages that resonated. Like I said, definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share, and a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support that you bring to the channel. No, I am sending it back your way.